Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again. In this video, we are going to talk about how to maintain a study routine during the pandemic. Sorry if you're hearing some noise, some construction is going on around here. How to maintain a study routine during this pandemic. So a lot of us are obviously locked in our buildings, although some people are still doing their work. They don't seem to be under quarantine. Yeah. But most of us, especially those of you in the US and in certain other parts of the world, have been locked indoors. Most medical students have left school. You've had to travel back to your home country. And one of the questions I've gotten from a lot of persons, especially on Instagram, is it's difficult to study with my family around. It's difficult to study. Now I'm back at home. It's difficult to study. My siblings wouldn't let me study. So I'm going to talk to you about how to maintain a study routine, how to still be able to study amidst the pandemic, while at home with your family, while at home with your siblings. How can you still be able to make sure that you are putting in some hours of study or every day as much as you can? The first thing is to join the morning birds. Beat the morning. Wake up at your regular time. If you're supposed to wake up by 8 o'clock, if you're used to waking up at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock to go to class or whatever, try to wake up at the same time you've always woken up. If you get up early in the morning, it sets the tone for what your day is going to look like. You give yourself more time during the day. You start your day when most people are probably still sleeping. So if you're home with your parents and your siblings and you get up earlier than everybody else, you're going to put in 1 hour, 2 hours before they're up from sleep. And that will help you at least achieve something when it comes to putting in the hours to study. The second thing is to find motivation. It's easy to become demotivated when you are doing this all by yourself. So you get to wake up in the morning and then you begin to study. You do it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, especially if you're not having online classes. I know some schools are having online classes, so at least you have something to look forward to. But if you're not having online classes and you're just at home by yourself, it's really difficult to wake up in the morning and just bathe and eat and begin to study. So what you want to do is find motivation, find groups online, find friends you already know, find your colleagues that you know are also studying, and see if you can connect with yourselves and give yourselves the motivation to study, give yourselves the boost to study. Go to platforms where people ask questions and answer questions. Maybe if you see a question and you don't know it, it's going to push you to study. Some people are like that. Maybe if you realize that, oh, some people somewhere are still studying, you're probably going to study. Okay, so find motivation, and you can find motivation in things that are not medicine as well. You can find motivation in the movies you watch. Just pay attention to them and find those things that turn on your spark to find your book and study. The third thing is to do other activities that are not studying. Do things that are not studying. One of the reasons why studying medicine especially gets very boring is because we only know to study. Most medical students only know to study. We study. It's exhausting. It can be draining. And then what happens is, instead of you to learn to take a break, you give up completely. So do things that are not medicine. Personally, I watch a lot of videos that are not medicine. Motivational videos. I watch documentaries. I watch a very few movies. I'm not a movies person, but I watch a few movies. You engage in other activities, whatever skill you have to play. If you're doing music, if you're doing online, blah blah, whatever people do apart from medicine, just make sure that you do things that are not medicine. Don't wake up in the morning and imagine that you're going to read for 24 hours. You're going to get tired, you're going to get bored, you're going to get frustrated, and you find yourself quitting at the end of the day. So engage in other activities aside studying. At least they'll take your mind off studying a bit, and then they'll bring you back to studying. Fourthly, you want to guard your emotions. There is a lot of news out here. Personally, I enjoy the news. I like the news. I like to pay attention to them. I take them all in, and they don't affect my emotions. I'm not emotionally invested in a lot of things, so I can handle that. But there are persons that get emotionally involved in things. So you are easily triggered. You are easily saddened, you're scared, you're worried about the world ending and the world not ending, you're concerned about the whole trauma in the world. If you're like that, you may want to stay away from the news, right? Because if your heart is downcast, you're not going to be able to focus to study. If you are afraid of what's going to happen next, you're probably not going to be able to focus and study. So guard your heart, guard your emotions, guard your responses. If you need to get off social media, get off social media. But if you can handle it, if you can match these information going all around every single day and still be able to study and focus properly, then I invite you to obviously join me. The fifth thing is a supportive and understanding family. If your family supports you, I have a lot of students that have a family that does not understand that they study medicine. There are some persons where your mom and dad, your siblings don't realize that you are a medical student. They don't seem to get it. They can't fathom the fact that somebody needs to wake up every morning and just begin to study. They don't see that image with you. But if you have a supportive family, it's going to help. And even if your family is not supportive, at least this is why I say you should connect with your friends. Connect with friends so that you get a little more motivation. You want to at least speak to people that understand what you're going through, people that understand what you need and are able to support you emotionally in that capacity. Right. Finally, avoid destabilizing your routine. Avoid destabilizing your routine. As much as possible, try to see that you maintain a routine. Don't study at night, then study in the afternoon, study in the kitchen, then study in the room, study on a table, study on a chair. If you can maintain a particular routine, please maintain a routine. It's easy for your body to respond to you. You know, a lot of us have these great things in our minds, but our body does not just respond. You want to wake up on time, but your body does not respond. You want to go to bed on time, your body does not respond. You think in your head that you should study, but you don't feel it in your body. And most of the time it's because your body is not used to it. Okay, your body is not used to it. You want to try to maintain a steady routine. Write down what you have to do. Write down the things you need to do. Write down whatever you plan to do for the day. Force yourself to do it. Try it twice, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. By the time you do it for a week or two, your body falls into routine. If you find it difficult going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time, force yourself to go to bed at 10 p.m. for example. When it's 10 p.m., you lie down there, you put off everything else, you close your eyes until you sleep. If you don't sleep, you just stay there. If you do it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, if you have the discipline to do that, your body is going to fall into place. So number one, wake up, beat the morning. Someone popularly said, make your bed. Number two, find motivation. Find motivation wherever you can get motivation. Number three, do activities that are not studying. Do something else outside of studying. Number four, guard your heart, guard your emotions. Be careful of how much news you take in. Be careful of how much emotional investment you put into all the distractions around you. Number five, if your family is supportive and understanding, that is beautiful. If not, try to maintain contact and connect with friends that are supportive and that can understand what you're going through and help you in the process. Number six, avoid destabilizing your routine. Try to see that you are stable in your mind, you're stable emotionally, you're stable all around, and that will help you maintain a study habit. Finally, remember that successful people are people that stayed with it. Even when it gets boring, even when it gets tiring, you want to stay with it. Stay with it until you solve it. Stay with it until whatever it is you conceive in your mind is brought to reality. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram. There is something interesting going on there. I am reading a textbook currently. I'm supposed to finish it today. And a number of persons have already started going through that textbook. It's an anatomy and physiology textbook. Very easy to read book. I'm going to put up a post about that on Instagram and you can find the details. I believe anybody that is preparing for step one in this very free period can probably go through an anatomy and physiology textbook that is very easy to read and interesting at the same time. Please subscribe to this channel. In the next week and for the next few weeks to come, I'm going to be doing a series on integration and review. How do I integrate? What goes on in my head when I'm doing nothing at all? What do I think about and how do I think about them in such a way that they are useful to me for memorization? You want to try to, everybody wants to learn how to remember stuff, but a lot of persons don't know how to remember stuff. So integration is one big way to remember, but how do you integrate? That's what everybody keeps asking. How do you integrate? How are you able to make a connection between physio and anatomy and histology and all of that? I'm going to show you all that in the next video and subsequent videos. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and I'll see you next time.